back, it's like, okay, fine, get back on, beg somebody to give me a fucking dagger so I can go kill some things. And then I feel a sense of accomplishment when I get myself back into the saddle, so to say. And I
Right.
think that's the other thing that newer games are doing a disservice to people by taking away that accomplishment of coming back and doing it better. And DFC really had that. It's like you could be down in the dumps, no money for con. I mean, I remember I had like a $14 million con bill and being 50 or something like that, but all my stats are wrecked. And I'd be like in snare woods killing spiders because I can't go anywhere else. And I would do that for days and days and days. But at the end of the day, I went, paid that con bill, got my shit back, got some good gear again, and all of a sudden it's like, look what I fucking did, dude. And now I can go invade and wreck people again. And I think newer games rip that away from people. There's a real sense of pride and accomplishment. And I'm not saying be brutal to these guys, you know what I mean? No, but stick with that original intent of it just being hard. Like, look, you're here to do it, right?
Right. Yeah. I think we'll start with what we start with, and then I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the balance. I think that the majority of us are focusing on the old system, obviously for obvious reasons, but um, you know, the current state of things. Who's to say things have changed enough that we have to kind of update the game and make and to make it playable. Um,
Yep.
so Algon brings up a very good question, which is about rolling for stats, and that's in the same vein as retraining your skills. And so I for one absolutely support rollings for stats.
And I do too. And so kind of a cool thing, and I'm trying not to do too many personal things. I don't think anyone cares about me personally, right? But
Oh, buddy, come on.
no, but um, it was an adventure in and of itself. One that got incredibly frustrating, right? But you mentioned your father being a big influence for you, right? As far as D&D and getting you into that mindset of role playing and everything else, and that's great. Um, I got my father into gaming. I started playing Mage Storm when it was like $2 an hour on AOL, and I racked up like hundreds of dollars on AOL and got my ass literally beat by a belt because I racked up hundreds of dollars in AOL playing fucking video games, right? And
Right.
he's like, you better show me what the fuck this was. It cost me so much money. He saw the game, and next month he racked up more money than I did. Okay? Because he fucking fell in love with the game and played Mage Storm to death, right? It's fucking hilarious, dude. And so me and my father, side by side, sat there, wrecked Mage Storm together. It was just great, great fun. That being said, my father had the greatest solution to the rolling thing, by the way. Uh, the max roll was 100. And you would see that pretty often. The roller was a little bit forgiving. It gave hundreds out pretty well. He put a stick-it note on the screen that would hide the first two digits of every roll. And if it went to 100, that one would stick out past the stick-it note. And he'd slam the fucking roll button until the one stuck out past the stick-it note. And he'd go until he got like 4 or 5 100s in Mage Storm. Oh, they're past the stick-it note. Yeah, those are the ones I want. Click play. He like gamed the system with a stick-it note on the screen like early day. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but that's the kind of thing that gamers think about. That's gamers in general. We think about things like, how can I game this? How can I get this? I think honestly, rolling adds that random factor that a lot of things miss.
Right.
So,
And that's and to kind of capitalize on that point, it's like you sat there for you were testing your willpower, and by the time something came up and tempted you, like, I just want to play the game. I'm going to accept the fact that I don't have 18 wisdom, and I'm just going to play. And then, but the thing is that it gave you that flaw, which is the balance of being strong in another area. So
yep.
that's the whole point of games, is you develop a concept of a race that has boons and banes. That's one thing that's thrown around. Character abilities, racial abilities. So
Oh.
you're not a troll if you have a weak strength bonus modifier. So it's like it's part of it.
So I'll tell you what. My first Eternal Magus, who's a blood mage, had 14 agility. Let me tell you how much that was stupid. Okay. So one, it was a learning curve. Uh, Eljon, I don't know how to pronounce that. Rolling is only nostalgia. Talking, it got gamed earlier on, and I would agree. They had auto rollers, which I used. Okay, I've not been kind to myself. I've told you I've cheated as a staff member. I've told you a lot of things. I used an auto roller, right? On my last incarnation of Eternal Magus. That being said, I think one, when you're coding your rolling, give a general spread. Have a metric that counts up your allocation per your class and what would be at least acceptable to be passable, and use that metric to give an acceptable roll. And also maybe provide, because we want some kind of middle ground, because rolling is kind of crazy. Offer a middle ground of, we'll give you some average stats if you click this button, right? And the people that really want a game, that really want to spend a couple hours, let them have it. You want to take a chance. It's like a lotto. Everyone likes a lotto. Everyone likes spinning the roulette wheel, But I would say be a little bit kind in the mechanics of your roll system to at least gather metrics and get a good sense of what would be an okay roll, and offer that more often than not. Because my father, I mentioned the whole stick it note thing, and people thought it was funny. But he spent 4 days, 3 or 4 hours a night doing that. That's fucking commitment. He deserved the stats, and he deserved the kills he got because of it. That is a little bit too extreme. I would somehow, and I don't know how you would do it code-wise, that's something for your developer and you to talk about, have a way to give acceptable stats for someone that do want to get in the game, And I don't know how you're going to balance that, brother, but that's my piece on it,
Right. Yeah. I think we one suggestion was just to have a built-in auto roller at kind of a medium speed, so that you didn't have to kill your hand. But
Okay.
there's a joy, there's a great joy and a great kind of smaller level of adrenaline pumping, because you could screw up and pass an amazing stat combination. So I think that why take away that experience,
Okay. And I give that to you. So. Put it out there, talk to your community, develop it from there, brother,
Exactly, yeah. Putting my foot down.
Mm-hmm.
No. But yeah, all very good points. And I can't quite, at this time, I can't think of any other kind of similar mechanics, if you will, or just kind of features. But I guess maybe racial abilities, racial modifiers, things like that. Like, for the audience and for you, Adam, like, did you feel that those were kind of in balance or in check? Were there improvements that were needed there?
That plays in again to that whole flavor of the realms being different and of classes being different. And I think they were in check, honestly. I think that as a vampire, being able to have Farsi was kind of cool. Because I could see into a room, I could see who was there, I could line up my assassinate ability. It was kind of a neat thing that only I really had, or at least one of the other races of the realms had, but they couldn't, right? And that does add flavor, and you will find EA has done a lot of studies on that kind of thing, and I'm kind of pervy to some of them, that the more kind of out of the box character you have, where you already have instant customization by just clicking on this elf who has better mana regeneration. Well, if you want to be an ability heavy person because you don't have aim, we're talking like a 3D environment. Yeah, I want the ability regeneration, right? It allows you to also tailor to your play style. So I think that's something you should keep. I think it did work well in DFC, and I can't think of one offhand that was really unbalanced. I think they worked well. I think you stick with that, right?
Yeah, and it's just interesting to think of how, like, in good, the classes, or the races rather, didn't really have any. They had infravision in some cases,
Yeah.
but that was about it. And then in chaos, you started to see the armor restrictions for obvious reasons, and then vulnerabilities and resistance to certain damage types, and then basically the same deal in evil. So like you said, it definitely provides the individuality while still making up for it in other areas such as training.
And that's an interesting point too, because it's something that played on earlier on, where you had the blood mages, and eventually they separated the vampires enough where they gave the blood mages magic abilities, right? Excuse me. And the blood mages, because of the way the game was designed, if they had studded armor, they had metal in their armor, it would reduce the damage of their spells, because there was this thought in the game that was kind of embedded that, like, look, if you have magic, the metal kind of attracts the magic away or hampers your ability to cast through it. And so there was this period where you could wear studded armor as a vampire. That was the race, vampire. You had two different guilds, but you were a vampire. You could wear studded. But as a blood mage, you wore leather because your spells went to shit if you wear studded. I kind of like that. It's kind of misleading for new people. I would make sure it's pointed out.
Right.
But there were some blood mages that really just got the drain ability and then wore the studded for the kind of more defense and tried to make a personalized character off of it, and it led for more customization, even though you knew you were kind of hampering your abilities. And I like that. And it was the same with Good Realm, right? Like, they could train studded, I think, on wizards and wear it. It's just their spells went to shit, right? So
yeah, just another way to keep things kind of in balance.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to call it shortly, but if there's any other questions or anything else, either from you, Owen, or people, feel free. I'm pretty open. I'll answer anything. Otherwise, the girlfriend's getting on me on text, so unfortunately I'm going to have to depart shortly here. But is there any other questions or anything anyone has? Yeah, rogues did use plate. It wasn't necessarily good. It weighed them down. They used a lot of fatigue when they moved. And that's kind of the cool balance thing too, right? Rogues could wear plate, yeah. But when they moved, if they're carrying items, like, their fatigue went way down, and their fatigue was tied directly to how much critical damage they would do on a backstab. So sure, you wear plate, but you moved fucking 15 rooms, you aren't backstabbing anyone for a lot. It's just, that's a really cool balance too, right there, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Just having the plus and minus effects kind of embedded in every little situation.
Yeah, and I think someone said signature. I'll steal their wording. It was a signature move on DFC to have that kind of thing. It was fantastic.
Right. And yeah, and that's true also, to have, to make up for that kind of thing, good races had a lot more training points, because
they had armor types and everything else, yeah. It was interesting because I just got studded armor, and I'm trying to recall, and I'm not trying to give specifics, but you got 80 or 90% of the benefit of studded, whereas good, if they train their armor type, they get 100%, right? They would get the benefit of that armor. Not as much as evil would, but evil didn't have to fucking train it, right? We just wore it, fuck y'all. You know what I mean? So I think that's not really an imbalance. I think that was fair, and it was just another balancing move that kind of worked out and added to flavor. I really like that. All right, gentlemen. Well, it's been a blast talking with everyone. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces. Just another guy pumped, psyched for Darkness Rises. Owen, keep doing a kick-ass job, brother. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
Cool, man. Yeah, likewise. Thanks for stopping by, and you're welcome anytime.
Yeah. Absolutely. Give a shout out to Will if he's still listening. I'm gonna go play some Smite. That's my game of choice, by the way. If anyone wants to know, if anyone plays Smite,
shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. My Aphrodite is diamond 10 times over.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, but all right, everyone. Thank you very, very much. Take it easy, Owen. Thank you very much. I'll be in touch with you, brother.
Okay.
Keep up the good work, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right, man. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a good night.